It's being called the hot labor summer. From Hollywood to hotels, workers have been walking off the job. Recent data from Cornell University shows around 119,000 U.S. workers were on strike as of May. You can see a fraction of that were on strike in 2021 and 2022. And the demands from employees appear to be the same across different industries: better conditions, protections, and pay. For more on this, let's bring in Seth Harris. He was the former acting U.S. Labor Secretary in 2013 under then President Obama. Seth, thank you so much for being with us. So your alma mater, Cornell University, has found major worker strikes increased by more than 50% in 2022. The Labor Department says that's the second highest level in 2 decades. So what's going on?
Well, John, I'd say that there are 3 things. One is the pandemic, the second is profits, and the third is the political economy. Workers are very angry about how they were treated during the pandemic, particularly frontline workers. They put themselves at risk. Their employers didn't do everything they could to protect them. And so workers felt that the only way to protect themselves going into the future was to come together with their co-workers and organize. Profits at the same time rose dramatically. Think of Amazon, think of UPS. They were making money hand over fist, but they were not sharing that money with the workers who were producing those profits. And finally, we have very tight labor markets, very low unemployment rate, and a president who is very pro-union. All of that helps workers to increase their bargaining power with their employers. 4 million workers are quitting their jobs every month. That means they can go out and find another job fairly easily. That's their assessment. Well, if you can quit your job, you can strike, and there'll always be another job available for you.
So assess then what corporations are, their posture on the other side of these negotiations. Do they not understand the point of view of labor, or do they think, look, we all had to go through difficult times during the pandemic. Our capital was at risk during that period. Times are uncertain. You're asking us to do more than we can handle right now.
Well, I think there have been some miscalculations by some of these employers. For example, I think that the corporate studios in Hollywood were surprised when the actors went out on strike. I'm not exactly sure why that was. I think they think that the competition that's going on between streaming services and studios and television networks somehow is the responsibility of the actors, and it's not. The actors don't see it that way. But there are a lot of corporations that just got used to always having their way, always being able to win when they go to court on labor issues, when they go to the National Labor Relations Board. They have been successful for a long time. The labor movement has been shrinking, unfortunately, for an extended period of time. So corporations were really feeling empowered. And what some of these unions are doing, those particularly that are out on strike right now or threatening strikes, are saying is the era of concession bargaining is over. We want our fair share, and they're willing to fight for it.
A tight labor market makes sense. In other words, workers can leave and find a better situation. Help me understand how a president who is pro-union has helped this dynamic or has affected this dynamic.
Well, I don't want to give all the credit to President Biden. That wouldn't be fair to the workers, because it's the workers who are doing the organizing and going out on strikes. But they have a president, frankly, who is cheerleading for the labor movement. He's a strong supporter of the labor movement. He works closely with the labor movement on policy and political issues. There have been certain circumstances where he has verbally intervened in order to let employers know that they shouldn't go too far. And he's appointed very strongly pro-worker, pro-union appointees to a number of positions throughout the government, including at the National Labor Relations Board, which is now very aggressively enforcing the law that allows workers to organize and bargain collectively. So all of those things taken together have made a meaningful difference. But at the end of the day, it's up to rank and file workers to decide what they can and can't accomplish. But having the most powerful person in the world saying, come together, your president is behind you, organize, you'll have a better life, Well, that has an effect on people's behavior.
And just in the short time we have left, the Teamsters president asked the White House to stay out of the labor talks with UPS. So what's going on there?
I think Sean O'Brien is simply saying we got this. And also, this is a private matter. It's not a public policy matter. In collective bargaining, that's a private dispute resolution tool between two private parties. The government doesn't have a role. It shouldn't have a role. And that's what President O'Brien is saying to President Biden is, we don't need your help. We don't want your help. We want to settle this ourselves. We want our members to decide what contract we get.
Think Biden will stay out of it?
I think he will.
Former acting U.S. Labor Secretary Seth Harris, thank you very much.
Thanks, John.